Good morning. And welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Chloe, and, and I am today's worship assistant. We welcome you to this amazing congregation, whether this is your first time or 1,000th time. We know you come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find the answers to some of your bigger questions. We know you come from different places, different theologies, different beliefs, and different backgrounds, and we hope you will find comfort, connection, challenge, and love here. After the service, all are invited to join us for social time following the service for light refreshments. Our main fellowship hall on this floor is directly behind the sanctuary. You can reach it through the hallway on your left. Or family-friendly fellowship hall with snacks and activities for all ages is upstairs in room 214, and that's accessible by the back stairs on the same side or the elevator. Oh, there's stairs at the front too. After fellowship time, please join us for religious exploration and small group gatherings as listed on the back of your order of service. It is such a joy to be together in community. Now we will light our chalice as a symbol of our Unitarian Universalism. Helen Johns will light the chalice. Hi. Oh, you're so cute. You need some help? No, she doesn't need help. Yeah, she said she doesn't need any help. You go, girl. Okay. Yeah. So we light this chalice for the fields of love. Oops, oh there. Okay, we got you. Yeah. This might be the cutest chalice lighting ever. Okay. We light this chalice for the fields of love and community where we gather to find truth beyond our differences. And now, in the spirit of love and the beloved community, let us share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. You go, girl. Yay. Yay, you did so good. Curtsy. Yes, okay. Okay. So now let's greet and welcome each other to this new day. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to turn to your neighbors and offer greetings. And for those online, please use the chat to introduce yourselves.
look forward to continuing those conversations in coffee hour and in our service reflections. Thank you, Chloe. I'm Reverend Christina Branum-Martin. It is so good to be with you this morning, and it is such an honor to be the minister here at Emerson. In Unitarian Universalism, we believe that there are truths in all religions, all expressions of faith, along with our direct experience of the transcendent world, of the beliefs and wonders of science and reason, and we draw inspiration from all of that. As the invitation from Rumi, written in the 13th century, "Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come." And interestingly, in our hymnal, there is a line left out of that hymn. It is, "Though we have broken our vows 1,000 times," which I think is so salient because humanity is sometimes about mistakes and coming back. Did you know that in the span of 2 weeks, the world's religions are passing through some of the most holy days of their calendars? In Christianity, today is Palm Sunday, the beginning of Holy Week, and it overlaps with Passover. And Passover is a ritual that is the remembrance of freedom and the liberation of the Jewish people after the time that they were enslaved in Egypt. And in Islam, last week was the end of Ramadan, a month of fasting. And during that month, this was a time in which prayer happened every day, specifically to bring you closer to God in your own religious practices. So the Holy Week, Passover, and Eid, and the nature religions rooted in the passage of the sun crossing across the sky. In the Western Hemisphere, we had the spring equinox, bringing the sun and the longer days back to us. These confluence of days are really significant because their histories stem from a part of the world that is again in war and chaos and experiencing trauma. And this has been the case for thousands of years, over and over again. But this time, this is in our name, whether or not we chose this. And our service today is to uphold our prayers and our care for those in harm's way, especially civilians and children. May our prayers for peace in this world take root here in our hearts, together in community. Let us worship together today so that our prayers for peace can come into the world and come into life. Let's sing together. Stand, if you would, with voice or body, and let's sing, "Come, come, whoever you are," and you might note that I'll sing that line that is not printed. Join with me if you hear it.
Uh-oh. This is a round, right?
It's a round? Oh, and it's a round in 3 parts?
Yeah, I don't know if we have room for an extra line.
Oh, I'll just sing. No, it's not a 4th line.
Oh, okay.
It just goes on top.
All right, guys. Am I mic'd? Can you hear me? Good morning. I'm Bruce King. Everybody to the farthest left, you're going to be number 1. That
number 1.
Doesn't mean you're any better than anybody else. And section in the middle is number 2. You have an unfair advantage. I see Ed Cosper in your group, so you better,
Kathy.
better do it right. And then everybody here on the right, you're 3s. We'll give you the cues. You can follow. Dale will be number 1. We have number 3. We have number 2 and number 3, and just follow them, all right?
We got to sing it together first.
We will sing it together one time through.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Number ones. Number twos.
Come, come, whoever you are.
Number threes.
Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair.
Ours is no caravan of despair.
Come,
yet
come,
again.
whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan
Lover
of
of
despair.
leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
You are wanderer,
again,
worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no
yet again,
caravan of despair.
Come yet again, come.
Beautiful.
Each week we come together to share our joys and our sorrows and the matters of our heart. And Helen, would you help me with the stones? Yeah? We place 3 stones each week, and the first is in honor of the Cherokee and the Muskogee nations of the indigenous peoples whose lands we reside on. And the second is in memory of those wrongly enslaved who labored on this land. And the third is for all those hurting in current conflicts and war that ravage the globe. There's one that is not written, but I was wondering if Kathy and Ed might stand so we could welcome them back. We understand you're here for a week or two, and we are so glad to have you with us. We know that sometimes you're online, and we feel you in the presence. Benitez, Maria Benitez, keep me in your thoughts, that I might be patient enough to help my sister while I can. She is 88 years old, and I am not young. I would like to put a stone in gratitude for having the opportunity to march yesterday with my convictions, and I know that many of you were out in the streets all over town too. I was a song leader for Singing Resistance, and it was a lot of fun. Would you put one last one for all the things that are not yet mentioned? Sometimes we carry things in our hearts when we're just not ready. Would you share the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness with me? May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be at peace. Blessed be. And Lindsay, would you be willing to come up? You got this.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, so as a quick note, I'm not usually a speaker, so if I turn bright red, it'll be okay. We'll get through it. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I made this speech about 2 years ago just to share my experience with Emerson of coming here, and I have added to it, and it's grown, and this is just a quick thing about what I've experienced here with Emerson. So a few years ago, I put out into the universe that it was time for me to step out of my comfort zone. And at that time, I was thinking maybe just a little bit of a toe. And then, you tell somebody that here at Emerson, and it becomes a push. But my name is Lindsay Tomic, if I hadn't said that. And I have been attending Emerson for 4 years now, and as a member of the congregation, a proud member of the choir, and part of the aesthetics team that brings you your holiday decorations and keeps those hallways nice and shiny. And I am also the mother of Annabelle and Ollie, who are on a field trip today. I've not been new to this church too long, but I have always been sort of following a UU path. I did not grow up in a religious house, but I did know that I was looking for a spiritual space and a supportive community. And after years of visiting churches with friends, just take a breath. Oh, I can do this. We're good. I realized that being a UU was my spiritual path, and I started searching for the right community. So she's not here today, but I did get permission from Ollie to tell you this story. So one day when Annabelle and Ollie were in kindergarten, they came off the bus, and Ollie said, "Mama," she used to call me Mama, "did you know that there's a man in the sky that gets mad if you don't do everything he says?" Yeah, that was my reaction too. And so then I looked at my late husband at the time, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it is time for some religious education." We found Emerson, and it fit all of us. When I first did this speech 2 years ago, my goal was just to simply step out. And last year, my goal was growth and healing. And this year, my intention is to move forward. This is one of the things I've come to understand about Emerson, is that we move forward. In my short 4 years here, I've seen that Emerson grow. New friends have come, others have moved on, and we move forward. Changes have been made to staff, and others have remained tried and true pillars of our community, and we move forward. And recently, I saw this through Annabelle's eyes. I asked her if she felt sad that we do not have the kind of big family that I grew up in, and she said, "Well, what do you mean?" She's like, "I have Ollie and you and Max and Meg, who are our dog, and Herc and Chad, who are our cats." And then she started listing all her friends, as teenagers in middle school do. And then she said, "And I have my Emerson family. I have Reverend Christina and Val, I have Chloe and Seth, and I have the Mr. Riley family," as she calls them. And then she kept listing on and on, all of you people, all of you lovely people. And she said, "I do have a big family, and they love me." And that is what Emerson has been for us. Through all of it, Emerson has remained in place to support and guidance and room to grow. And here is I don't just see myself here in the present, but possibilities of the future. I believe in the universe giving us opportunities and I am going to try to listen. Emerson has given me and my family guidance and room to grow and support. When it comes to stewardship, I hope that I can give back just a little bit of what Emerson has given to us. That's it.
Yay! I just wanted to take a moment to mention something that I didn't get a chance to write down in the book today, and it's that the UN had voted that slavery was the gravest crime against humanity, despite those who abstained and those who voted against it. The vote was passed. So I just want to acknowledge that. So the offering we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to the people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Each week, Emerson shares half of our offerings with community partners beyond our walls. This month, we will share our offering with NAMI Cobb. NAMI, N-A-M-I, stands for the National Alliance for Mental Illness and is an organization that supports families, friends, and individuals whose lives have been affected by mental illness. Please reach out to Reverend Christina and the pastoral care team if you need additional information and support for yourself or a loved one. For those in the sanctuary, as the basket is passed, please feel free to offer a donation or see in your order of service other ways to give. For those online, go to emersonuu.org and select the Giving tab to donate. For the children and those with a sweet tooth, there are lollipops in the basket too. The morning offering will now be given and received with gratitude.
I invite the young and young at heart, and for those with good knees, to come and join us here on the carpet.
Good morning. My name's Gregory, and you'll probably know Valentino. We're going to tell y'all a story about Eid today. It's called The Night Before Eid, a Muslim Family Story. It's by Aya Khalil and illustrated by Rasheen Kariya.
And let's wait for the pictures. Almost ready. There we are. We're on the screen. Everybody wave to yourself. Hello. There it is.
So, it is and by the way, just so y'all know, Eid is the end of Ramadan, so it's celebrating like the ending of fasting. So it's when you're not eating throughout the day. So what do you think you're gonna do at the end of not eating a lot? Eat, yeah. So it's celebrating that you're gonna get to eat a lot. So this story is about making desserts. So it is the night before Eid, and Teta is finally here from Egypt. Zayn and Mama are ready to help Teta with her famous cake. This is Zayn's first time making the sweet treats, and he can't wait to share them with his class. Baking cake requires patience and teamwork. Cake are delectable, delicate, crunchy, crumbly cookies covered in powdered sugar. Why don't you wait until after? But the best part is the surprise inside, fillings of finger-licking flavor. And you see he's got a little cat friend that's following him around, Zayn. Zayn unpacks the ingredients from Teta's bulky suitcase. Ghee from Kaloa Karim's farm, honey from Tasir's beehive, and dates from Amo Girgi's date palm. Tata and Mama recall when they used to stay up all night to bake with the whole family. Cousins took turns mixing the ingredients. Aunties drew intricate henna designs on hands. Uncles sorted money into gift envelopes for the next day. Aida for the cousins and Aidia for the kids on the block who sold jasmine garlands. These are basically money for the poor. Gato played Eid songs such as Ahlan Bel Eid and Ya Lelet El Eid on his tableau while everyone sang together on the balcony that overlooked streets filled with colorful lanterns and bright lights. After Eid prayers, we would hand out the cake to our neighbors and friends, Mama says. Zayn rolls up his sleeves. The cake must turn out perfectly so his classmates and Miss Bryan will like them. His friend Graham shared sugar cookies last week, and everyone loved those. Guess y'all can see them. You like sugar cookies? Tata says that cake are as ancient as the pharaohs. Recipes were even discovered in one of the pyramids. Centuries later, rulers filled cake with golden coins and passed them to the community. Plop, plop. Tata scoops globs of ghee into the dry ingredients. Bloop, bloop. Zayn pours the milk. Swish, swish. Mama turns on the mixer. As Tata, Zayn, and Mama wait for the ingredients to mix, they drink the Kamar al-Din. Zayn savors every sip of this iced apricot juice made with a dash of orange blossom. Tata checks on the dough to make sure it's just right. She sings the words from one of her favorite poets, Fa'ud Haddad. Oh, eat cookies, I am your grateful taker. Please send my regards to your baker. Y'all like that? Ooh, sorry. Zayn crushes the nuts using Tata's mortar and pestle. Ragged but strong, passed down from one generation to the next. Clink, clink. Mama scoops the shiny dough, perfectly round and smooth, like Ramadan's full moon. Zayn presses his thumb into the dough, just enough for Tata to drop in the fillings. Next, Tata shows Zayn how to use the cake mold. Did you know your ancient Egyptian ancestors designed geometric shapes on their cake? She asked. My Tata, Dalat, made the most beautiful cake in this town. She didn't even need to use the mold. Tata Dalat was so generous, she shared this recipe with anyone who asked for it. Zayn presses the dough too hard into the mold. Gently, Tata says. Zayn presses lightly this time. The design hardly shows. Akat aktar, Tata says. He squeezes harder. Clunk. The mold and dough tumble on the floor. Y'all see that? He's pressing too hard to try to make that cookie design. Zayn slumps into a chair. Tata softly brushes Zayn's curls away from his eyes. Her hands smell like cinnamon and cloves. Al Sabir Kamil, she reminds him, that patience is beautiful. Zayn slurps his Kamar al-Din. He stirs the ice with a shiny metal straw. He notices its smooth round tip. Aha! Zayn creates zigzags on the cake with his straw. So instead of using the design of the template, he just uses his straw instead. Poke, poke. Camille, Tata says. Oh. Beep, beep. The cake are finally done. The spiced aroma fills the air. You see the penguin and the cat are just dancing around. Warm vanilla, toasted sesame seeds, sweet honey. After the cake cooled down, it's time for the fun part. What do you think the fun part is? Yeah, oh yeah. Tata helps Zayn sprinkle powdered sugar, using a mini sieve. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow, Zane sings. Tata, Mama, and Zane taste a couple before sorting them into boxes. Melts in the mouth. If only the cake were filled with golden coins, my friends would really love that. Zane laughs and powdered sugar erupts everywhere. But these are more valuable, Mama says. They're loaded with tradition. On Monday, Zane brings a wrapped box of cake to Miss Bryan's class. Thank you, Zane. They smell delicious, she says. The whole class buzzes with curiosity and excitement. I can help pass them out, Sana says. Her smile reminds Zane of Tata's warm grin. Graham says. These are so good. Even Ellen, the pickiest eater in class, likes them. Can I have the recipe, Zane? Miss Bryan asks. I will ask my Tata, Zane says. After school, Zane rushes home and Tata greets him with a hug. Everyone loved our cake, he says. In the evening, Zane and Tata write down the recipe for his class as they sip shay and nibble on Eid treats. Eid Mubarak, Tata says. Eid Mubarak, Tata, Zane says. He reaches for the last cake but pauses. He dusts off the extra sugar and places the cookie on Tata's plate. He kisses her right hand. This is the best Eid ever. The end. Thank you. Eid Mubarak. That's your greeting. So let's all stand for our song of dedication.
We've come to the time of prayer and meditation, which will be followed by a moment of silence. I want to give a little trigger warning. War is heartbreaking. I'm going to read a poem by Sheila Weinberg called Praying Together. And then following a moment of silence, we're going to sing together and bring this prayer into the air with our song. Praying together. Many histories, one land. 3 faiths, 1 root. 1 mother, 1 earth, 1 sky, 1 beginning, 1 future, 1 destiny, 1 broken heart. O God, we pray to you, grant us a vision of unity. May we see the many in the one and the one in the many. May you, life of all worlds, source of all amazing differences, help us to see clearly. Guide us gently and firmly towards each other, towards peace. Amen. I was taught by a great-grandmother that my prayers in song would be heard by the angels. So when I thought of this song today that we sang yesterday was Singing Resistance, it reminded me of the prayer in my heart as I prepared for this week service. There's a poem by Nikita Gill, who reflected on James Baldwin's simple and salient statement, "Every bombed village is my hometown." Her poem begins, "Every bombed village is my hometown, and every injured child is my child. Every grieving mother is my mother, and every crying is my father. Every home turned to rubble is the home I grew up in. Every brother carrying the remains of his brother across borders is my brother. Every sister waiting for a sister who will never come home is my sister. Every one of those people are ours, just like we are theirs. We belong to them and they belong to us." When I read this poem, I realize and reflect that our liberation is bound together. Everyone is all of us. We're going to sing those last lines of the poem together. We're going to sing together through twice. The lyrics are here. And then we're going to sing in a round 2 times, and join in if you'd like to. The words are here. It's a simple tune. It's meditative. It's meaningful. And I might tear up.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Everyone, oh everyone of these people are ours, just like they are theirs. We belong to them, and they belong to us. Everyone, oh everyone of these people are ours, just like we are theirs. We belong to them, and they belong to us. Everyone, oh everyone of these people are ours, just like everyone, everyone of these people are ours. We belong to them, and they belong to us. We belong to everyone of these people are ours, just like everyone of these people are ours. We belong to them, and they belong to us. We belong everyone of these people are ours, just like we are theirs. Of these people are ours. We belong to them, and they belong
During the years of seminary, as a Unitarian Universalist, I started out at the Unitarian Universalist Seminary in Chicago, Meadville, Lombard, and then finished at Emory University at the Candler School of Theology. And one of the things that was really wonderful about being in both environments is at the Unitarian Universalist Seminary, I had the opportunity to go deep into my own identity and faith as a Unitarian Universalist. And then life came along and said, well, you've had a baby, you've moved to a new city, you need to be closer to your classes, and so I finished my degree at Candler. This was a Methodist school and very much in the Christian tradition of studying the Old Testament and the New Testament, the Torah. I, throughout these years, studied also Buddhism and humanism, and also I read the Quran. I understood the study of religion as a UU all my life, and also in seminary, akin to studying anthropology. With this view, I studied religion, not just the institutions of religion, like polity and the history of how different denominations formed off of each other out of arguments. Sometimes those arguments were theological. Sometimes they were about how we were organized. And sometimes they were whether or not we used to sing hymns or not. As you can imagine, it is our divisions sometimes that have created new offshoots of denominations. Understanding the belief structures, the theologies that came beneath our study of religion, I believe ultimately comes down to us needing to understand our lives, needing to understand how we got here, who are we, how are we supposed to live our lives with meaning and purpose, and how do we ultimately come to understand that we die. And as a parent, I saw my own children ask these same questions. And I know that every parent has had to explain those things to their child over all of the span of humankind. Fundamentally, as I read the Torah, the Christian Bible, the Quran, and other texts of world religions, it was clear to me that the fundamentals of our collective beliefs, striving to make sense of our world, came down to primarily ways to create peace in the world, how to bring more love to our lives and to our families, and how to bring about the liberation of each other. Because humans have frailties. Liberation is needed because we, in our history of humanity, have not been so kind to each other, have we? And we are again in one of those moments where we look around and go, how do we get here? What is happening? For me, in moments like this, it is my faith and my religious practice that grounds me in the moment when things feel disassembled. This is what grounds me again in my purpose in this world. Rumi wrote, all religions, all this singing, one song. The differences are just illusion and vanity, and the sun's light looks a little different on this wall than it does on that wall, and a lot different on that one, but it's still one light. These words, written in the 13th century, are poetically still true today. Did you know that Rumi was a Sufi poet? And he was a practicing Muslim. Sufism is a mystical study of Islamic teachings that often include prayer with dance and physical practice. I think there was a story last week about that, wasn't there? The children's story. I found in reading the Quran and through my relationships with my Muslim friends and colleagues in ministry that Islam has a deep foundation of liberation theology and religious practice. Some may have a difficult time relating to the teachings of Islam as a source of liberation. And I know for myself, I had to understand my own sense of pushback against that. It became clear to me the more I read and discussed with my classmates that it was my American and Western outlook that was ingrained in my thinking. Because I came to adulthood after the Cold War and also in my young adulthood around 9/11. This, as we all know, was a time when Islam was considered the so-called enemy of the West, and especially the United States. But this is an extreme oversimplification that doesn't take into account all the geopolitical manifestations of a faith that is practiced in every country in the world and has more permutations than Christianity or Judaism. On top of this, the prejudice against Muslims is also indicative of the prejudice for those who are most likely black or brown-skinned in the world. And this othering of Muslims is a dominant racial view of our Western and American culture. Liberation theology is an Abrahamic tradition that is found in the three traditions of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, all stemming back to Abraham as the forefather of those communities. In all three, the teachings of tolerance and liberation are the primary teachings of Muhammad, Moses, and Jesus. And in all three traditions, when taken out of context, there are passages that incite hatred and violence, yes. But I found in reading the Torah, the Christian Bible, and the Quran that the majority of texts were about peace, love, and liberation for all. These religious traditions carry with them a foundation of liberation theology, which acts as a bridge between faith and political action, insisting that faith must result in a commitment to changing unjust structures. I saw a little bit of liberation theology on the streets yesterday. Who was there? Oh, so many of us. And you know, Palm Sunday was a revolt against a king too, wasn't it? I think what we were marching for yesterday, and they were marching for during the time when Jesus rode in on a donkey, was about peace, love, and liberation for all, wasn't it? This is what I pray for. And I will continue to work for as a minister and as a Unitarian Universalist. And my religious practice, the practice that helps me work for liberation and to dismantle the structures of oppression that affect the least of those who have control in their lives, feel sickened by the reality that my country, the one that I grew up to honor and respect, is dropping bombs on lands considered expendable and that people are measured only as collateral damage. As if they were not mothers and fathers and siblings and children like our own family members are. My heart is set on justice and liberation and the Unitarian Universalist context that understands the intersectionality of your freedom and liberation is directly tied up to mine. When others are oppressed, they oppress me. When other children are oppressed, they are my children. So I am heartened every single time that I encounter people of other faiths using their beliefs to work for liberation. And I stand with those of all faiths who stand with equity as a moral imperative. May we see all land as holy, all people as precious, and do all we can here on the streets, in our letter writing, in our chanting, in our singing, in our prayer, in our voting. May we do all that brings peace and love and liberation to the world, and may it be so.
Ashe. Okay. There is something profoundly human about turning. In Islam, there is a practice, simple, physical, deeply symbolic, where people across the world, across languages and cultures, pause and turn their bodies towards the same direction. Not because they are the same, but rather, more so, because they are connected. In a world that teaches us to scatter, to divide, to define ourselves against one another, there is something sacred about choosing again and again to orient yourself towards something greater than ego and self. This was one of the many reasons why at age 18, I chose to convert and practice Islam for a little over 2 years. At the time, I felt like I had found a path, something I could orient myself toward, something greater than myself. And maybe more honestly, I felt like I had found a place where someone like me, someone who never quite fit neatly anywhere, especially spiritually, might finally belong. So much so at 18, and Seth just learned this, I even convinced my boyfriend at the time to convert as well. We were married in a traditional Islamic ceremony, and our marriage lasted about as long as the time that we were in the faith. But that's another story. On the topic of finding home, there was an uncanny piece I discovered in Islam. The words of the Holy Quran are not only beautiful and melodic, they invite a kind of presence. A presence with the Creator, with oneself, and with community. There's something both poetic and deeply thoughtful in parts, also curiously scientific in its teachings. Something that speaks not just to the heart, but to the mind as well. And I remember being struck by the story of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, receiving revelation through angel Gabriel, and then sharing those words with others to be written down despite not being able to read or write himself. There was something about that felt profound to me. All of this and more drew me in. The peace, the beauty, the rhythm of returning again and again throughout the day, but most of all, the sense of community, a feeling that you were not navigating the world alone, that you were part of something shared, something practiced, something lived together. And yet, So much of what we are taught about Islam and Muslims, about what the Swana, and I'm going to give you a little lesson now. Swana, spelt all caps, SWANA, stands for Southwest Asia and North Africa, that region. And I am myself unlearning the term Middle East and trying to say Swana because the Middle East centers Europe. Even this has been shaped not by truth, but by fear, by distance, and by the long shadow of colonial storytelling, stories that flatten people, that erase nuance, that make other, as Reverend Christina has shared, out of the neighbor. But when you look closer, when you listen, when you sit at the table, when you witness the breaking of fast during Eid al-Fitr, you don't see something foreign. You see discipline, you see generosity, you see community. You see people who have practiced restraint, who have known hunger, who have chosen reflection, and who now choose to gather, to share, and to give. You can see a mirror of yourself, aspiring for oneness, humility, and unity. There is something we can learn here about peace, not as a passive idea, but as a discipline, about community, not as convenience, but as commitment, about unlearning as the quiet, ongoing work of releasing what we have been handed that no longer serves truth or love or justice. So maybe the reflection or the invitation is not to fully understand one another today. Maybe the invitation is simply this: to turn, to reorient, to soften what has been hardened, to question what has been inherited, and to make space for a more honest, more human seeing and human being. So I'm gonna close with the Al-Fatiha. I have not recited Arabic in a while. And I'm sure that many of you have seen, like in the media, that Arabic is kind of sang, but it's not. It's supposed to be recited in a good voice. And the reason for it is because it's supposed to draw you into presence, literally. That's why you recite the Quran. So this is our closing prayer. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim wala dallin. Amin.
Before we sing together to close our service, may we walk the path of justice. May we speak words of love. May we live of selfless deeds. May we trod gently on the earth and fill the world with compassion. May these guide us today, tomorrow, and on all of our days to come. Let's sing together. This is a song called This Is My Song. Sung to the tune of Finlandia. Many of our hymns are to that same tune, and you will recognize it. There are 3 verses. The third ties together so well of what we talked about today.
This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands of far and wide. This is my beams, as true as high as wine. The country skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands has sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as wine. Oh, hear my song, the God of all the nations, a song of peace for earth and land for mine. The truth and freedom come to every nation. May peace abound where strife has raged so long, that each may seek to love and build together a world united, righting every wrong. A world united in its love for freedom, proclaiming peace together in one song.
I'm wondering, Jay, would you like to help me put out the chalice? We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. Please see on the back of your order of service things that are happening in second hour, especially a flyer also that is from Julie about a recovery group that's starting this week. And know that for those of you who are new to Emerson, next Sunday we have our flower communion. So you are invited to bring a flower, perhaps from a bouquet from the store or a florist, a flower from your garden, or maybe even a blooming branch from a tree, whatever calls to you. And we'll make a collective bouquet together. And then you will take another flower home that someone else brought that day. It is a day that we honor Easter, spring, Trans Day of Visibility, a celebration of resurrection, renewal, and community. It'll be a grand day. And right outside, if the weather holds, there'll be a big giant Easter hunt for children of all ages. It'll be a busy day. Come join us. Go now in peace and take peace wherever you go.